the back of my thigh is actually quite slim because he took fat out of the bottom of my thigh and put it into my bum, and that wasn't something that I had asked for. Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, it's a new year, it's a new me. There is no new me, it's the same old me, but happier and a little bit more free. Last year was crazy, but it feels good to be back. And I know that I've been over on my other channel talking business and finance and accounting and numbers, the stuff that I really love. But I'm still here for the babes who love the beauty and the fashion and even the cosmetic surgery, which I'm going to discuss today. Something's in the energy where I really feel like a lot of us are gonna meet our goals and like be the best versions of ourselves this year, because I feel like last year we were under pressure. But today I wanted to do a video coming clean about all of my cosmetic surgeries. I've had a number of treatments at this point in time, and I don't want to sit here and say any are good or bad. I think there's lots of stereotypes as well about who has cosmetic surgeries, why they have cosmetic surgeries, and you know, BBLs, Botox, and botchness. I want to talk about the things that haven't gone quite right for me, so give you guys a little bit of a heads up, as well as what I plan to do in the future ahead. And in the past, I was very private and very scared to talk about cosmetic surgery because I actually had my first cosmetic surgery over 10 years ago. No, it wasn't 10 years ago. Let's fill these girls. These girls are like 7 years ago. So the discussion around cosmetic surgery is a lot more open now, but I think there's some misconceptions around, you know, the surgeries that are out there. So breaking down what I've had done is I had a boob job when I was probably 27. First ever cosmetic surgery. I was so flat, I was inverted, okay? She was going, it was ironing board in, and I was never a self-conscious girl. And again, I did it in my mid to late 20s, but definitely being on camera made me feel like I wanted to have boobs. Like I could tell that I did not look as good in outfits as I wanted to have. And then I got pregnant, I had a baby, my first ever baby, and I've always been skinny. So skinny was my vibe, not fit, just skinny. My bum got thicker, which is great, but my belly was thick. And I used to always joke about this being tooth-shaped, right? I was very much a box in the belly, box in the front, and I had a little booty, that little poked out. But I became so conscious of being slim with a big belly. I just didn't like that as a body shape. At the time, I thought if you're gonna be slim, you need to be in and out. You need a flat stomach. And I think it was scary to me that, so do I need to lose more weight to have a flat stomach? And I never wanted to be skinnier. And I know right now skinny is in. That skinny trend scares me because trends change so much, and we need to learn to be comfortable no matter what weight we are in. But for me, it was like being skinny, but not having the dream skinny body type. It was mad to me. Like my arms were twigs. I used to try and eat to gain weight and have thicker arms, right? But then really the arms stayed twiggy and the belly was just rounding. And I didn't love it. So I started to do my research around liposuction, and I really wanted to just get what they call 360 lipo, just to remove it out of my stomach. And a lot of people were starting to have BBLs, but they were very embarrassing. Nobody wouldn't wanted to talk about it. There were fitness girls with their BBLs, but really they told you it was the gym, and I really believed it, right? So I was like, no to BBLs. I was against it, and a lot of people going to like Miami and Dominican Republic and then literally dying, and I was like, there is no way that I want to do that. So I went onto Real Self to really find out about the journeys of other girls who were having cosmetic surgery in Europe. And I know in the UK there weren't that many really good doctors when it came to liposuction, and so I went to Spain to a really cool doctor who was like the body contouring. He trained in Venezuela, like kind of thing. He was like the best doctor in Spain, and he was really good at body contouring. I wasn't that confident about what I wanted. I just knew that I wanted my stomach to be flatter. And eventually, and I know he did do BBLs, but he was like, oh, you know what? We can take the fat out and we can put it into your hips and into your behind, right? And I was like, I don't want a big bum, right? I really didn't want a big bum or anything like that. It wasn't my aesthetic, but I wanted a flat stomach. So I went to him and he did the lipo. My husband was with me. He was adamantly against this, But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You can't tell me nothing. That was what I was like. I was like, please, please, please. I'm not comfortable post having a baby. And it was obvious that I carried fat in my stomach, right? And I was just like, Mike, like, I just didn't like this. So he was like, all right, I just want you to be safe. So he came with me. But his look, his eyes almost fell out of his head because even he took a picture. All I realized is I was lying on my front and my bum looked like a mountain. It was a mountain. And I was terrified. I was like, what is this? I only wanted a flatter stomach. And I came out with a flatter stomach and a hill for a bum, right? That was not part of the plan. And what I found about cosmetic surgery is that, like, you never know what you're going to get. You do one tweak here, something else happens here. You do another tweak here, something else happens here. They just change this a little bit, but the toe changes a little bit. It is a cycle of like seeking perfection. I woke up and I realized that I had a stitch here, I had a stitch here, I had a stitch there. I had stitches in all weird places that didn't make sense because I was surprised that my bum had looked so big when I didn't have that much fat. And I realized that the doctor basically liposuctioned other areas of my thigh, other areas of my body to put more fat into my behind. The back of my thigh is actually quite slim because he took fat out of the bottom of my thigh and put it into my bum, and that wasn't something that I had asked for. He has his own kind of shape that he has, which is quite nice, and I wouldn't say it actually looks bad because when I stay slim, it looks great. When I gain weight, the bum is massive. I'm not gonna lie, I looked good. I looked real good. Post-surgery, I remember there's a picture of me in like a yellow dress, and I know as soon as that picture came out, people were like, what's going on with that hips and that waist? What is that? I was just like, I think I said hips on fleek or something at the time, and I didn't tell anybody about the situation, but I was scared because my waist measurement was very small and my hips were like 40 something, but there was a lot of swelling there as well, so it went down, but it didn't go down a lot because I also already had a behind. I didn't have a small bum. I didn't need a bigger bum. I had a big bum for my frame, and then it just ended up being bigger and with hips. So at the end of the day, that kind of settled down, and because I was slim and I hadn't had a second baby, it looked nice. Like it was like skinny BBL. Let's say skinny BBL because I was a skinny girl and it wasn't like a big mountain, and I never wanted a big mountain. But they did vasolipo and like body contouring. So what I found is that I always had this dent where all the fat was taken out, but in the middle, fat was left, right? Because he likes this like V-line look. And I just felt like the V-line looked fake on me because I wasn't working out. My abs were not real. I got pregnant again because I love getting pregnant. And this time I got quite a bit bigger. I think I gained about 50 pounds during that pregnancy. And the bum was the hill of hills. It was big, and my thighs stayed small because of the liposuction. So the bum and the fat in the bum just kept growing and growing and growing as I grew. And then I delivered, and then my stomach looked so bad. So bad. There was no snap back. And again, I lost the weight. I got back to slim, not skinny. I got back to slim. Wasn't intentional, breastfeeding, some exercise here, trying to eat clean here. But that stomach was giving size 16 and the arms were size 8. And it was like devastating because I didn't like what I looked like and I was like terrified. And then my bum was bigger, like it now had a bigger set point now. And I was like, oh, well, we're here. I started to go hard at the gym, hard exercise. And after my second child, that is when I really learned about fitness, right? I really went into eating healthy, eating clean, moving my body more, going to the gym, lifting weights, and I could see the difference in my body. I was stronger, I had better stamina, but my stomach still hung. And I decided to go for another cosmetic surgery. The boobs were number 1, the liposuction was 2, the BBL was 3, and then the tummy tuck was what I had. And I had this actually exactly a year ago today. And that was the one that I was scared about the most, but I waited 2 years to make the decision about my tummy tuck. And I never say the word tummy tuck. I say my hernia repair and skin removal, because fundamentally that's what it was. I explained that I had diastasis recti. So as much as I was exercising, I was doing all of the breathing, diaphragm, pelvic floor exercises. I carried big babies. I have very narrow hips. I have a small frame. So my abdominal wall basically split. You have a tendon at the front of your abdominal wall. That's not a muscle, it's a tendon. So once it's stretched, the only way for that tendon to go back, or if it snaps, is for it to be sewn back together. It doesn't work the same as a muscle, which is what I need to make clear to people. So because I had the muscle split down the middle, I have this gaping hole, and then I had internal fat based on the fact that I had previous liposuction. Cause and effect. You do one thing, it does something else. You do one thing, it does another thing else. And so eventually I had to get a tummy tuck. I had to get it, abdominal repair and skin removal surgery. So for the hang, and basically for this surgery, the 2 muscles that are at your wall, they basically sew them back together. There is stitching. They lift up your stomach like an apron, and they sew those muscles all the way from your sternum down, right? So that was a surgery I opted to do. It took me 2 years to make that decision, and I was very careful about the doctor that I went to do it. I did it here in the UK, and there's a great doctor who I was like, yeah, I'm going to her. I need her to do my surgery. It took me, I was 6 months on the waiting list. And actually, there was a season I realized maybe I wasn't meant to do it, because I went for the surgery. I had COVID 2 weeks earlier, or 3 weeks earlier. And on the day I was there, I had a cold and I had a blocked nose. And I remember being like, I said to them, hey, I had COVID. Here's my previous COVID test. I think you have to wait a month. And this doctor doesn't put you under. So I was really scared of being put under. So they use twilight sedation and numbing agent, basically. So you're awake during the surgery, which was one of the reasons why I went to her. And I was like, I've got a bit of a blocked nose, so I'm not that comfortable about breathing by myself. And her and the anesthesiologist, they just took a look at me and they were like, we're not going to operate on you. I'm sorry. We're not going to do it today. We know that you've recovered from COVID, but they were actually talking about the guidelines, and that's saying that new guidelines have said that they should wait a longer amount of time for optimal surgical results before they operate. So they were adamant, and they were like, nope, come back, schedule again. So actually I then had to wait another 6 months before I could have the surgery. I'm glad that I had the time to wait, but I definitely knew that I really wanted it because of that. And I then spent 6 months training harder than I had ever trained. I was stronger than I had ever been. And I was the tone was coming in. The stomach was still hanging, but the tone came in. And it was amazing to see how my body transformed with exercise. And then I had my tummy tuck at the beginning of last year, January 8th, I had the tummy tuck. And the recovery of that was so intense. It's not a joke. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the pain of these cosmetic surgeries. When I had that BBL, the pain that I had there, I was like, I would never, ever, 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 ever subject myself to that kind of pain ever again. It was something else. It was the worst thing I had ever tried. It was so painful. Boob job, walk in the park, 45 minutes, Bob's your uncle, you're done. Tummy tuck, that one was something else as well. These are really real surgeries with real risk and real pain. And if you can go through the pain of those surgeries, you can really go through the pain of anything, to be fair. But I can honestly say that every single cosmetic surgery I've had has genuinely actually enhanced my well-being, right? Especially the tummy tuck, which was really more functional than just cosmetic. Like, if I had loose skin and a little bit of fat, fine, but I couldn't lift up my daughter because there was no core here. So like for me, it was definitely valuable to do that. But I think that prior to that, there were definitely surgeries that I didn't necessarily need. And I definitely felt under pressure because I was in front of a camera all the time. And I don't know if I didn't work in this industry, if I would have done those things. That is my honest truth. I recently had a conversation with a cosmetic doctor who I see, Dr. Esho. He's great. I get my skin and face treatments done with him. And he said that the questions that you need to ask any doctor, if you're thinking about it, is number one, what are your credentials? How long have you been operating? How many operations have you conducted? And if something goes wrong, what is your protocol? What are you doing? That is a key question that I really didn't think about when I was having any of my treatments. There was an element of me closing my eyes and hoping for the best. And when a doctor did what he wanted to do on my body with that liposuction BBL situation, I really realized, and that scared me, that he wasn't listening to me. He had his mindset of what he thought looked good on girls' bodies, and it wasn't about what I wanted. And he thought that I wanted what everybody else wanted who went in for him, which was a big apple booty. That's not what I wanted. I wanted a small stomach, and okay, fine, use a little bit of fat, shape me, but you really turned me into a mountain, and there's not much else you can do. Right now, my body is in great shape. I've lost weight. I'm lower weight than I've been for a while. My booty is pretty contained. My stomach is really nice and flat. And it's not perfect. I do have some a visible scar on one side, which I can just Photoshop out, and the other side is seamless. And then my belly button's not perfect as well, but it will do. I am washboard flat. I can't even be mad because what I had before was really hanging. And when it comes to next, I'm getting a consultation to probably remove my implants. Again, anyone who thinks about getting teeth or getting implants, you really need to be thinking about the long term about these items. And for me, I definitely noticed that one of my boobs is a bit more painful, and I think it definitely has a little bit of capsular contracture in it, and it's not as comfortable. And to be honest, I didn't do the research when I got my boobs in. I didn't know what shape I wanted. I didn't even listen to the doctor. I was like, I want 320 because somebody else had 320, and I hate how my boobs look. I've hated them for quite a long time, but I like having boobs over not having boobs. So I'm having a consultation for an explant, and I've decided that either I'm going to keep them out, or maybe do a little fat transfer. But again, fat transfer has its own complications as well. But I am seeing a doctor in the UK for that next phase of my boob journey. Am I against cosmetic surgery? Not at all. I think that it can actually save lives and change lives and really improve people's sense of self and well-being, because it can give you confidence. I feel good. I feel a lot better in clothing than I previously did, but that might just be maturity as well. But the fact that my stomach is flat really helps, but I have to work and I have to maintain it. I've definitely seen people who had banging bodies on first surgery and then looking like misshaped triangles, and that's what will happen. You will be a linebacker when that was not the plan. You wanted a waist and now you've got shoulders. I've had those moments where I was like, this is going so left. So the maintenance game when it comes to cosmetic surgery is very real. I would definitely tell people it's not something that should be glamorized. I think people should definitely take their time, but I don't think that people should be embarrassed if they want to have a treatment to enhance how they feel. There is enough resources out there as well to not make dangerous or scary decisions. At the end of the day, people should be able to make the choices that they want to and have the information that they need. So I wanted to share that, almost like a clean slate, to let you know about the truth of my cosmetic surgeries, as well as what I plan to be doing next. So guys, that is it guys. That is my cosmetic surgery story, full in detailed and transparent. I hope you guys liked it. Be careful in these streets. And yes, I can still say love yourself, but make choices that make you feel good and be safe while doing it. Thanks for watching guys. Bye.